to participate in this meeting. So I said, in order to be reloaded, belonging actually in the generation of those people that were actually loaded once upon a time, I have to present my case as thoroughly as I could. So I dressed with a tie, with a dark suit, prepare myself to be presented in front of the Catholic Inquisition. You are the youngest, you judges, for all the things that we have done up to now, and for all the troubles that we transferred to you. But I realized that most of the people that are here, they are not wearing a tie, so I have to take it out. And they're not wearing a costume, most of us, except a few of us that are actually feel still responsible for our generation. So give me just a brief, small interval. Let me take an interval to take out my tie. Now, let me present myself as a professor of economics at the University of Athens. Primarily, I'm teaching microeconomic theory at the advanced level. So actually, for those of you that we are familiar with theory in economics, you know that we are trying to be as brief as we can. So my presentation is going to be very brief. And if you have any questions, you're free to answer or ask me all the questions you feel an answer to from this presentation. What is the TANEO? TANEO is an acronym for TANEO S.A, which means New Economy Development Fund. We're primarily the most active investors in SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises in Greece right now. We are currently investing on innovative businesses in Greece, but also on Greek innovation exported to international markets, primarily through the collaboration with other institutions comparable to us. And at the same time, we're trying to expand through pan-European collaborations, which are probably the most important issue for us for the next year. Let us now go back to Greece, at least to my father's years, please, the first presentation. And in order to just remind you, for those of you that you're not familiar with the map of Greece, in 1903, what was Greece in 1903? Compare with this map, we can go back to the map here right now in 1912, and Greece is 3 times larger. The next presentation, please. Three times larger than the previous one. So, as an excuse, I may say that those people that lived in this part of the world for 100 years loaded an area, managed to expand, managed to create a country substantially bigger than the previous one. The next slide, please. If we go a little bit further, we will see that the Piraeus port, 100 years before, is totally uncomparable with the one that we actually see today. So those people that were loaded in this, all those years from 1922, 1912, they actually did something to change this country all those years. You may say 100 years are not enough. Of course, this is a reasonable criticism for you, given that you count 3,000 years of history. But you should calculate also that during those years, this few part of the globe managed to survive, managed to overcome two world wars, one civil war, and similar problems that were not as obvious as we expected at the beginning. And a few other slides explaining what Panepistemio Street, for those of you that you're familiar with the Athens road, it's going to be, it used to be like that, and hopefully by the donation of the ONAS Foundation, it's going to look like something like that. The other one, the Greek Parliament, once upon a time without demonstrations, but part of the business is also included in this photograph. Please, the other one. And of course, Holargos was like something like that, not far away from the center of Athens, all right? Not far away, 1930, all right? Rafina Port, a few photographs for you, and for the others that they think that Greece managed to do all those things, and may interrupt this presentation by saying that we managed to do those things by dancing together with the British or with the foreigners, as Zorba did in the previous photograph you saw in another presentation. Please, a few more. And that's Guglielmelli Beach, once upon a time, and almost today. This is a similar, this photograph you know from your experience quite well. Now, Athens 1910 and Athens today. So, for those of us that we feel we are responsible to be reloaded today by you, we may say that we did something. Give us some benefit, or at least the benefit of the doubt, that we managed to bring Greece from what it was to what is today. And we may say that with this presentation today and this participation of today, most of you, people that they decided to come to a foreign country, get a better education for you and for your economy, and try to reload yourself in an economy completely different from what your fathers and your parents managed to get from your grandparents. We may say that for you, we the loaders, we gave you a great opportunity. And don't forget that life is not security. Life is full of opportunities. And we, the loaders, managed to give you some part of those opportunities. Unfortunately, I don't want you to present this diagram. Originally, I wanted to put my position close to my profession in order to feel more comfortable. That's why I managed to say that, yes, in a crisis, this is what I'm saying, in a global crisis, Greece happened to be one of the few countries in the world that after a long period of constant growth, 2008, we put ourselves in a very difficult position with what we call in economics twin deficit problem. A current account deficit and a budget deficit. All right. That's a problem that we, the loaded people, manage to take the responsibility, take the political risk, take the responsibility, the human risk, and overcome it. and I think we are very close. We may say now, I may say that we are almost recovered from our problems. We are close to explain to the others that we did manage to stabilize the economy. Please, the other one. Therefore, I would like to change the word, the phrase a little bit, and say that for me, this is not the winter of our discontent. I think, and I'm not willing to follow what Shakespeare said, that in Richard III, that this is the winter of our discontent. We may say that the glorious, the second paragraph of the monologue, the glorious future of the House of York is going to come and it's going to reveal pretty soon. So what I would like to say right now is that we cannot accept, as previous discussion said also, we cannot accept that we are currently in a winter of our discontent. And I will explain why. How I foresee Greece in almost 8 years from now. Please. I think we have to change directions, and we will change direction. We are bound to change direction. Please. Why we're bound to change directions? Can anybody tell me, explain to me, why this map, which of course the word map, as you may realize, this map is very important for my presentation. Why I think it's necessary to put this map in front of you in order to explain that, look, Greece, due to this specific geographical putting, is one of the most prominent and it's going to be the most successful country in the world the years to come. Let me give you a hint. Once upon a time, close to the Second World War, and during that period, another country, Holland, got all the privileges of the international trade. Holland was positioned, you know where, and at that time, trade was between the continent and across the Atlantic, the United States. So the new economy, or the new direction, the new trade was between Europe and the United States. Can anybody tell me what is in the foreseeable future the trade is going to take place in between which countries or which areas of the world? It's India, as we call it, China and India, and Europe or United States. Can you give me, using this map, a reasonable road to succeed in trading between China, India, and Europe? Either through the 5 more minutes, all right. So either through Africa and go back to Holland, or the route through the Suez Canal. No way. It's very costly, it's very inefficient, it's extremely unreasonable to think something like that. Therefore, Greece is not going to be the apple of Europe. It's going to be New Holland of Europe. Greece, the next years to come have a great potential to substitute Holland in all terms: logistics, trade, transportation, all the infrastructure related with the trade. And of course, in minimal terms, all the other investments that we consider as important. Now, let's go forward, a step forward, and think about what others. First of all, why Greece is inhabited by 11.5 million people? Why not 25 million people? Why not? We cannot afford them. Look around you and think about Samos, Naxos, all the islands around Greece, inhabited or non-inhabited, that can provide places for living from all Northern European people. But then we have to feed them. Why not? Let's organize our companies with the best agriculturists in Europe, which are who? The Dutch. Let's make collaboration with Dutch and expand in terms of innovative agriculture. Not just how to make a 2 euros olive oil to 12 euros olive oil, but how we make Greece the enlarged agricultural producer for its own inhabitants. Not 11.5 million people, but 25 million people. Willing, highly specialized, highly innovative, highly important new products in Greece, produced, consumed in Greece. Let me give you an example. Let's assume that the O.S.A., the train transportation, finish, may have one more minute, is given to the Chinese to be totally reconstructed and give us a désert in 3 years, 4 years from now, reaching at least Bonn or Austria in 4 hours. And let's assume that because we don't know how to do these things, we ask them to bring 1 million Chinese, give them working permits to work as they did as slaves, comparable to us, in the United States. All the transportation, train transportation in United States was wielded by Chinese workers. Let's do it. Let's do the same. They know that they have to transport all the products from Greece to Central Europe and bring those products to us. Let's do it, please. Next. Why I put this photograph, this slide on my presentation? Because we talk about 2004 Olympics from my point of view, from a wrong and very misleading point of view. We managed to do the most difficult managerial problem in the world. There is no other managerial problem in the world as difficult as the Olympic Games, all around the world. More successfully than any other country, and extremely efficiently. And everybody who thinks that we spend a lot of money, he should ask British, and the Chinese, how much money they spend to accomplish this task. Please. Of course, we can do a lot of things, and that's a presentation just to say how nicely we do it with TANEO. And of course, the other presentation. And what we do in TANEO, we give money to investors and invest in private equity in Greece, and we do it very successfully. We are the best. Please. And finally, at a glance, we have invested in all those companies in any technology. And of course, why we do that? We do that because we believe in the Greek ethos. I absolutely agree with the previous discussions, and I absolutely believe that the most important gene in our biology comes from our civilization, which makes us completely obscure objects of desire. We are an absolutely incredible part of the globe. That's why they have to pay in order to learn how to live as we live. Please, thank you.